And you are, sorry?
Police officer.
And your collar number?
Are you an auditor, or are you...
And your collar number, please?
I'd have to give you my collar number.
Welcome back, where we expose police misconduct and hold public officials accountable. Today's footage comes courtesy of Power to the Proletariat. Be sure to check out their link below and support the original content. This incident takes place in Shard, Somerset, a small market town with a population of just over 13,000. While heading to a festival, PTTP ended up stranded with a flat tire. Instead of waiting for roadside assistance, he chose to carry out an impromptu audit of the local police station. What followed revealed several failures in basic policing standards, including refusal to identify, misuse of body-worn cameras, and serious data protection concerns.
There was nothing down here saying it's a restricted area.
What do you want?
I was taking some pictures and stuff. I'm making a little video of the area. Local force. That sort of stuff.
Purpose?
Pardon?
For what purpose?
Public interest.
To go where?
Pardon?
To go where?
Well, for public.
You're quite clearly filming us at the moment.
Yes, yeah. I film any interaction. Have you two police officers, are you?
Yes.
Have you got your warrant cards with you there since you're not in uniform?
Why do I need to...
Pardon?
I'm walking out of a police building, aren't I? So...
Yeah, but you're obviously doing a stop and account with me, so I'd like... But you are, you're asking what I'm doing, which is by definition a stop and account. You're asking what I'm doing in an area, that's a stop and account. So if you're engaging in a policing activity, I'd like to know your warrant card, otherwise I'm just going to disengage from you and carry on with my business.
Okay.
Alright then. Alright, refusal to identify. So I'm just going to get your picture so I can report you to your Chief Constable. Cool. Bye-bye.
This clearly breaches the College of Policing Code of Ethics, which requires officers to identify themselves by name and collar number when interacting with members of the public during their duties.
Hey mate, you alright?
Not bad, how are you?
How's it going? What are you up to?
Just, as you see, just taking some pictures out of your cars and out there.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Yeah. And you are, sorry?
Police officer.
And your collar number?
Are you an auditor, or are you...
And your collar number, please?
I'd have to give you my collar number. My identification is on my shoulder there.
And then if I can't read, it's not your policy to identify for members of the public?
I don't need to.
No, it's not identified. No.
When asked to identify himself, the officer claimed that simply displaying his collar number was sufficient and that he wasn't required to say anything further. However, if that number cannot be clearly read, whether due to size, obstruction, or distance, then pointing to it is not enough. Officers are expected to verbally identify themselves. Clear and audible identification isn't just polite, it's a key part of transparency and ensures the public can properly question or follow up on any interaction.
Are you here to just cause issues, or are you here to just
No, I'm just here to take pictures and that, that's all. As I said, I've just noticed as I was walking down to take pictures, your colleague's window was open, I could see the screen, made them aware of it.
Okay, have they sorted that?
Yeah, they closed the window,
Okay.
fine. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
we're not here to cause you a problem. I'm sure you're not
Yeah.
here to cause a problem. We're just,
You know, your colleagues not in uniform refuse to identify while engaging in a policing activity. Not fantastic, is it? It's against policy, you are required to identify. You're engaging in a stop and account, you are required to identify. Because if I have any complaints, how am I supposed to make that complaint if you haven't kept yourself to the accountability standards that the force requires? So, you know, again, you refuse to identify properly because, again, you don't know that I can read, so you're refusing to identify properly. Yes, you're in uniform, but again, if I want to make a complaint against you,
you can give the time and date and where the location where you are. My body cam's recording, so
oh, is it?
It can all be.
How come it's taken you this long to let me know that your body cam's recording?
Talking.
And is it the policy not to, at the first most practical opportunity to allow
That was the most
that?
practical time to inform
Was it?
you.
So because you come in and gone hands on with me?
I haven't gone hands on.
Exactly. So why is not the first thing that you say good afternoon or morning?
What
You
you're
would.
doing, because that's the first question I asked you, and then we've had a conversation, and now I've told you.
Yeah. But the first most practical opportunity is to say, good. By the way, you are being recorded.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could be covertly recording me under the Regulations of Investigatory Powers Act, couldn't you?
When the officer eventually admitted he was recording, he argued that there hadn't been a practical opportunity to inform the auditor earlier. But that doesn't hold up. The interaction was calm and routine, no urgency, no physical engagement, no distractions. There was nothing preventing him from simply stating, "I'm recording," from the outset. This wasn't a timing issue, it was an attitude problem. Dismissing this responsibility shows a lack of respect for both policy and public accountability.
But that's not happening, so don't worry about that.
It could, because it took you X amount of time to alert me when there was plenty. The only situation where it's not practicable at the first opportunity is if you're going into a hands-on situation.
Is it?
Any other time, there's no reason, and this has been dealt with in the tribunal by the tribunal that deals with the REAPER Act, that the first most practical opportunity is when you approach somebody. If you have your camera on or you turn it on, It's if you approach with your camera on, you should alert them when you approach, unless you're going hands-on. If you turn it on whilst engaging in a conversation, you should turn it on, and then once it's recording, so it's stated on the camera, by the way, you are being recorded for my safety and your safety, blah, blah, blah. You have the right to do it, same way that I have the right to do it. It's not a problem, it's the notification that's the problem.
Okay.
You know.
But I've notified you at a time that I think is practical, so I've done that, so it's fine.
Okay, you can justify that to a tribunal, it's fine, no worries.
So what are you doing?
So you're going to try to identify yourself properly yet?
No, I'm happy.
You're happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to identify yourself, or would you like a complaint as well, sir?
So can I ask you a question? Before my colleague steps in, just can I? So my name is PC2376.
Thank you,
There
so that's
go.
how it's done, thank you.
My colleague here was obviously made aware that the window was open.
Yeah.
And he's got concerns because of data protection and that you might have recorded something on your phone from the screens.
If there is anything, I'm not sure if there is or not, if anything is captured on there, that will be evidence for me to report that to the Information Commissioner's office, because obviously the onus of data protection is on the organisation, not on whoever sees that
You don't
information.
expect someone to stick their head through the window.
I didn't stick my head through it. I didn't
and
stick my
that.
head through it.
At this stage, another officer attempts to shift responsibility onto the auditor, suggesting he shouldn't have been looking through the window or capturing visible data. But the law is clear. The responsibility under the Data Protection Act lies with the organization managing the data, not the member of the public who happens to see it. If sensitive information is left visible to the public, that constitutes a data breach. The problem here isn't the camera, it's the failure to properly secure information.
No, I saw it from a public
because
place.
somebody else's information, this is a secure site. Well,
I understand that.
it's not as secure as we'd like
Well,
it
no,
to
exactly.
be.
It's not secure at all, is it? Really?
No. We are trying to work on that, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, you have to do with what you've got to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Even a bit of signage saying no unauthorised access beyond this point would go a long way, because I do respect signs like that.
No,
you know.
okay. I will take
But
that
I did
to
have a
the
look around,
senior-
and there is
I will
nothing
genuinely
there.
take that to the senior leadership team, because
Fantastic.
I think that is fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are trying to redo everything. Yeah,
Okay.
Financially, we have to wait until the
That's
budget.
why it's quite a
and
small
everything,
town,
and
isn't it?
it's
Lower
exactly,
priority.
you know
Yeah,
what
I
mean?
get it. Yeah.
We get shoved right to the bottom type
Yeah.
of thing. We're right on the borders, you know, what I mean,
Yeah.
between different forces and that. So it is totally. I understand where you're coming from, and I'll pass it on to the senior leadership
Thank
team.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've just got concerns about the data protection that's on that video. Do you
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? Because that's somebody else's private stuff and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we obviously learn from things like that. So you've pointed it out. They've closed the window. It is
Fantastic.
really hot in there. We've got no air
Again,
conditioning.
I completely understand that,
You know
but
what I
obviously
mean?
data protection takes priority over that, unfortunately. You can get a fan in there, and I understand, I've worked in many
So
various
that's what I'm
locations
more
where health and
concerned
safety
about,
data protection
what's
takes
being
priority
recorded.
over
Does
that
that go
subject.
live? Is that a live?
I'm not live streaming, no.
If there is something, would you delete that?
Not necessarily delete it, but I would make it anonymous. I would blur it out if there is anything, if I were to post it anywhere.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
it's not their fault. You know what I mean? It's the
No,
person-
of course. I've raised the issue. I've raised the issue of data protection, and obviously I
Absolutely.
raise it as an issue because I do see it as an issue.
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
going to go share that information.
yeah,
that would
yeah,
be
yeah.
very hypocritical of me,
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
if there is anything captured on the camera, it won't be made available to the public. It will be forwarded to the ICO.
That's fine. Yeah. Can I
part of evidence.
take your details?
No,
can
I'm
I,
okay,
can I
thank
take
you.
your name?
No, I'm
please?
alright,
Just
thank you.
first name, so I know who I'm speaking to.
No, I'm alright, thank you.
So you've got my collar number, but I can't take yours.
Yeah, but as a Crown servant, obviously you have issues of accountability when dealing with members of the public, and
And
that's
I'm just
why.
being
And that's why.
polite
Yeah, I
asking
know.
your first name.
I
I
know.
don't even know anything
But
else,
then
so I
obviously
know who
that coupled with my image, which obviously he's notified me is recording.
Yeah, obviously we do that because I'm open and honest. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
We record things so that you can see what we do.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And we can
Absolutely,
see,
I
you know what
completely
mean?
agree
So-
with the use of body cameras.
because
Completely.
That's the thing is that I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
hide saying, "Oh no, I didn't say this to this man," or "This man didn't say anything."
No,
to
exactly.
me.
Exactly the same
That
reason
is
why I record any interaction I have with you as
Yeah,
well.
that's
you know.
why we record everything. I
yeah.
protect my back because
Of
the amount of
course.
people have said we do things.
Of
and
course.
we don't.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I mean?
with your collar number, then obviously you're bound. You have to identify. You did it
Yeah,
correctly
you can see,
verbally
I
because
mean,
you
in
can't
uniform,
guarantee
there's
that
my
I
collar
can
number
read.
there, you know what I mean?
But you have to wear that for
236.
accountability reasons. That's why I'm entitled to have that, because you're dealing with a member of the public in a
Absolutely.
stop and account situation. Accountability, you have to identify yourself for that exact reason,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
he doesn't seem to understand. And sorry, we got interrupted. Would you like the opportunity to identify?
4988 PC Biffin.
Sorry, what was-
PC Biffin.
and your collar number, please?
4988.
4988. There you go. Thank you. Would you like another opportunity?
No, I'm fine.
But-
No, you're
but
fine.
it
Okay, so
doesn't
you're just going to be an absolute idiot
No,
about it.
When it came to identifying themselves, the other officers handled it professionally and complied without issue. But this particular officer had multiple opportunities to do the right thing and chose not to. Instead, he doubled down with a dismissive, ego-driven attitude, acting as though the rules didn't apply to him. That kind of behavior slowly erodes public trust and undermines accountability.
He's got,
Well, I mean, you
he's
are.
got other jobs and that, and we have to rely
Yes,
on
but
that.
you have a collar number for the specific reason, as we've just heard us discuss, for accountability reasons. You're making a very large assumption that I have the ability to read that my eyesight is good enough to read that.
These two officers are identified, and if you do
Yep.
need my details, they can be.
Okay, it's
that's
still,
when-
that's
when you
still,
make your complaint,
again, that's not
fine.
your policy,
Okay,
so that's fine. I'll make a complaint to you,
Okay,
Chief
not a problem
Constable,
at
that's
all.
not a problem.
Not a problem
Actually, I'll
at
probably go straight through the IOPC, because otherwise it goes to your
Yeah,
local
that's-
PSD and gets
that's
kicked
not-
down and
yeah, I
disregarded.
appreciate that. That's not a problem
Yeah,
at all. If you
no
just do
worries.
that, that's absolutely
Okay,
fine.
nice picture of your face as well, so I can just make sure that goes to the right person.
Yeah, no problem.
Is there anything else I can
Lovely.
help you with today, sir?
No, I said, you know, obviously, I've made the issue of that window, and I've made that aware.
Which I'm literally going to go speak to my inspector.
Yeah,
about.
and that's
Moments like this highlight that it's not always the major incidents that matter most. It's the everyday interactions where standards are either upheld or ignored. When officers become dismissive, avoid basic responsibilities, or shift blame, that's where deeper issues begin. Accountability isn't just about responding to serious mistakes, it's about consistent behavior at all times. It comes down to whether those in uniform treat the public fairly and follow their own rules, even when no one is watching. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. I'll be reading through them. And if you appreciate this kind of breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.